What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. Okay, let's talk about love. What is love? What is love? And I have to first start off by saying that human beings in general have very little understanding of what love really is. Very little understanding. We mix up attachment and possessiveness with love. It gets mixed up like that with, selfish agenda and selfish motives somehow translate into I love you. And so humans have a limited understanding of what love is. So let's talk about it here. If I was to summarize love in a sentence, I would say, or in just a couple of words, I would say love equals acceptance. Love equals acceptance. If you love a flower, do not pluck the flower, for God's sake. Don't pluck out that flower. All right, now we've got a few flowers here. Some of them are blossoming. So let's take one that maybe is, more blossomed. So we've got a few here, right? So this one, for example, this nice little, here you can see it, nice little white flower, right? Now, I may look at this flower and be like, wow, it's a beautiful flower. Very nice, a nice white color, white purity. All right, let me pluck it and take it home with me because I love this flower. I love how it is. I love how beautiful it is. I'm going to pluck it out of its roots. I'm going to take it with me home. Now, let me ask you, how selfish is that? Now, see, in that example, I have mistaken love or, appreciating the beautiful. Beauty equals love also. Love equals beauty, equals purity, etc., etc. So I have mistaken my sincere appreciation for the beauty of the flower, my love for the flower, for my selfish desire to possess the flower. You see? If I pluck that flower just because I think it's beautiful and I want to take it with me home, I'm really just being a selfish asshole, whether I know it or not, whether I realize it or not. That's a selfish act. Because if I truly love the flower, then I think in terms of what is the best course of action for this flower that's going to help and serve this flower for its highest good. And that obvious answer is let it be. Don't pluck out the flower. Accept it. Let it be. Acceptance is a letting of things. You accept something, you let it be as is. You allow it. Acceptance is allowance. Allow the flower to be as is. And as is right now is the flower is blossoming and it's here in its most optimal environment. It's got sunshine, it's got water from the earth, it's got its support system, all the plant kingdom around it, providing it with nutrients. And here I am plucking it, basically essentially killing it, because I want to possess the beauty of it. See that? That's so then you could extrapolate that. You could take that into your life and see how many people you think you love. Do you really love them? Or are you possessing them? Do you want to possess them? Do you want to mold them into your own version of what reality should be, of what a person should be? And that is so common in relationships of romantic nature, right? That is very, very common. Also with parents. So let's talk about both. Okay, so you meet someone and you connect with that someone. You really connect and you guys talk and you can talk. You experience the sense of timelessness in their presence, etc. And then you start to make love and you get intimate and it's beautiful and you say, wow, I love you, baby. And the baby says, wow, baby, I love you too. Let's make out some more. All right, so here we have, a nice moment there. And you could, in that moment, actually truly love one another because you go beyond words and you go beyond the whole mind and attachments and expectations, etc. Which is often most couples, most people who start off, you actually innocently and naively love one another for real. You really love one another. those first few times you make love, it's like you really love one another, right? Naively and innocently, mind you. And then something happens where you begin to have this experience more and more, and you say, well, I want to have this experience with this person forever. I want to always be making love to them, and I always want them to make love to me. So you say, well, okay, I gotta freeze this moment. I gotta now possess this person, you see? So you begin to play, a myriad of things can happen. You begin to play power games with the other person because, you want to possess them. You want to keep them around either as your love toy or as your pleasure toy, whichever chakra you're operating on. If you're operating even at the lower chakra, you see that person as just a pleasure partner, right? Just somebody to exchange pleasure with. If you're in a higher chakra, then you see that someone as someone who I can experience union with, yoga. Okay, but nevertheless, you begin to want to freeze that person into whichever box you want them to be in, so that you could continue to have that experience with that person. Now realizing that that person is like you and like everything in nature, always in a state of flux, always in a state of change, okay? And that you really can't freeze or can't possess anything that is always changing. And it will lead to your own suffering because you have certain expectations. Okay, you're going to be always the same person that I met. And we're always going to have the same experience because it's a beautiful experience. I love it. I want to have it as often as I can. So I want you to be the same person I met. And then you begin to be possessive about this person, right? And you begin to get jealous, right? Maybe that person's priorities in life and preferences in life have changed from when they met you a year ago, and now that person may be attracted to a different man or woman. But see, you're jealous. You want to possess this person. You want to freeze them into time and space so that you could continue to have the same experience because it's such a nice, pleasurable experience and you don't want to let go of it. So you say, well, I love this person, so I have to act this way. Okay, when in truth you're not allowing that other person to be as they are. You're not allowing them to manifest as they are. You're not allowing them to change and experience themselves as they want to experience at every moment. Therefore, you do not love them. You only love the experience. You're essentially a drug addict, actually. You love the oxytocin and the dopamine and the chemicals, the endorphins associated with being in a state of intimacy with that other person. And you actually, it turns out you're not in love with that soul. You're in love with the experience that takes place in the presence of that soul. Okay? Because if you truly love that soul, you would, if just like a flower, you wouldn't pluck the flower. You wouldn't pluck that soul. You wouldn't try to control and manipulate that soul. You wouldn't try to freeze that soul in time and space. You would rather simply let it be. Let him be. Let her be. Let that soul, let that mind, body, spirit complex manifest itself, herself, himself as they are. And if that person's now not interested in you as they were a year ago, and if you truly love that person, you would say, okay, babe, I guess we have to break up, or I guess now, we have to break up, and you want to now explore yourself in a different way. You want to explore yourself with another person, or you want to explore yourself as a single man or a single woman, and I can't be in the picture anymore because you've changed and maybe I've changed. All right, babe. All right, I accept it. I love you so much. I want the best for you. The high is good for you. and I see right now that you have your free will, and from talking to you and communicating, I see that you are no longer feeling the same way about me, and I have to respect your free will, and I have to honor you, honor where you are, and therefore I'm not gonna pluck you. I'm not, because in that moment you could begin to play some kind of power manipulative moves. You could begin to do that whole I'm gonna ignore you type of thing, blah blah blah, to try and get that person to fall in love with you again, which they're not really falling in love with. You're just trying to manipulate them, and you're trying to perhaps stroke something in them, some kind of a childhood trauma. So you start to treat that person like shit, and that because that person has some traumas in them, they begin to feel somehow attracted to you again, because you've awakened a certain part of them, the traumatized part of them that they respond to. So you can begin to play power games then when you feel like the other person isn't as interested in you anymore. And then, okay, now you get them back so you could continue to experience those drugs that you experienced with that person. You see? So that's not true love. That's possessiveness and attachment. That's fear-based, because you're afraid that you're no longer going to have an experience like that, because you're not really present in the moment, and you're not really self-realized. You're not really feeling peaceful about just being in the moment. Okay? True love would be honoring that person, asking that person genuinely, what is it that you want to do, babe? What is it? What is it? What do you want right now? I love you, and I want to honor your free will. Do you still want to be in a relationship with me, or do you just want to break up, or are you interested in going exploring yourself in with different people? What is it? What is it? Because you love that person, so you want to allow them to be. Don't pluck that flower. Don't play games with that flower, right? Let that flower be. Let it manifest as it manifests. Do not interfere. And so that is love. Love is acceptance and allowance. Love equals acceptance equals allowance. That's cosmic love. That's agape. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's it. Parents also, they have this condition. Again, it's all conditions. I love you if we're together. If we're in a relationship, then I love you. But now we're not in a relationship. I don't love you. I don't really care for you. I don't care about you. That's conditional love. Conditional love, right? Which is it doesn't come close to unconditional love, cosmic love. Parents and kids. Oh God, happens all the time. All the time. Right? I love you, and here's your allowance money, and here's all the love, and we'll put you in the best school, but make sure that you follow the family traditions. Make sure you follow our religion. Otherwise, may have to disown you here. Pretty common thing in the Middle East, right? Grew up in the Middle East. Disowning your kids because they no longer follow your religion, or honor killing, women getting killed because they had sex outside of marriage, before marriage. So the dad will kill the daughter, and the whole society supports the dad. They call it honor killing. Everybody supports it. So yeah, she deserves it. That's the epitome of conditional love. Twisted love. You see? Twisted. Very selfish. Very, very selfish. If you don't follow my ways, if you're not manifesting as I want you, as my expectations and attachments are, then I don't love you anymore. I'm going to withdraw my love. Not giving you money anymore. I'm not giving you allowance. I'm even going to disown you. Very common in a lot of places in the world. Parents will play these games with their kids. These power games. Because they have the authority, they have the power. So they'll play these games with their kids. Very unfortunate. No, it's not love. That's not love. So most humans have a very distorted idea of what love is. Very, very distorted. Love is acceptance and allowance. It's allowance, first and foremost. Okay? It is allowance. That is it. It is allowance. I'm going to allow you to be as you are, as your free will dictates. I don't want to interfere with you. I wish you the best. And so a lot of times, love is somewhat indifferent. It's embracing in the moment, like, oh, beautiful flower. Oh, right? But the indifference is that wisdom, actually, which is, well, I'm gonna let you go now. Somebody else may come and pluck you. That's their own karma. It may rain, or there may be a drought. You get no water. But it's indifferent because it's allowing it. It lets everything be as is. So in many ways, it is indifferent. But it isn't apathetic. There's a difference between indifference and apathetic. Okay? It isn't. It's like you break up with someone, and you love them, and you have fondness for them. You're not apathetic, right? But you're indifferent in the sense that, all right, I'm gonna let you go, babe. This was such a beautiful experience with you. I really, from my heart, wish you the best. And you just completely let that person go. You wish them the best, and then you just carry on with somewhat of an indifference. New moment, new experience, that's it, newness. And in fact, if you were so in the present moment, even the memories with that person would not really pop up in your mind anymore, if you were so in the present moment. I think Alan Watts says something like, he says it with some humor, that the only reason you remember something is because you haven't processed the experience fully. That if you were so in the moment, you wouldn't even think about anything that happened in the past. That's what true love is: accepting, embracing, allowing, and indifferent. It is indifferent. It actually is not apathetic. If you were to cross paths with, say, your ex 2 years ago, and you truly love your ex, you'd be like, wow. You give him a big hug, and you would, because you're so in the moment, you would be inquiring about their life. How are you? What's going on? Oh, you have a boyfriend now. Are you happy? And you sense, and if she's actually happy, you'll be like, you'll be happy for her too. You see, you pumped into her. It's in the present moment. You really love her, so you wish, you there with her. And if you sense that she's actually happy, you feel there's the happiness in you as well. You pick up on it empathically. But for those 2 years you haven't seen her, you're totally indifferent. You sort of let her go, allow her to be, wish her the best, but you're indifferent. You're in the moment. You have new experiences. So that's what love is, right? That's what love is. It's the moral of the story. Love, true love, cosmic love, agape, the love of God, the love of the Creator to all of its manifestations in creation, is acceptance, allowance, and indifference. Okay? Acceptance, allowance, and indifference. And like I said, I put the disclaimer out there, do not mistaken the word indifference for apathy. Do not mistaken those two things. Apathy would be, you see your ex two years later, and you don't care. You just look the other way, or you say, "Oh, hey, what's up? I gotta go." That's apathy, because you're still holding resentments toward your ex. You truly inside do not want the best for them. Okay, that's apathy. Versus indifference, you let go, and you're in a new moment. If you're fully in the moment, you won't even, that whole experience with your ex would feel like a dream. If anything, it would feel like a past life, because you're so in the moment. That's indifference. Okay, because the indifference comes from a total letting go, a total allowance, a total letting be. Let it be. The Beatles said it. Let it be. Let her be. Let him be. Let the flower be. It's a letting be. It's a letting go. Okay, and then it's a being present in the moment, and it's a true wish inside your heart for the best, for all the beings, for the beings that you're involved with, that you apparently loved. Okay, and then like it's the same thing with the parents, right? A parent that actually loves their kids, like the Creator loves all of its children and manifestations. Again, would inquire, you would actually legitimately be interested in seeing what makes your child happy, as opposed to trying to get them to conform into your religion, conform into your way of thinking, conform into your beliefs, conform into what you think they should do when they finish school, etc., etc., etc. So most of us in this plane have not really experienced love. Okay, most of us have not really experienced love. That's the truth. The truth is, most of us have not experienced love. Okay, and it's a little bit tragic, but the planet is moving to fourth density now, so we will experience more of that cosmic love, more of that allowance, that acceptance, that indifference. The indifference is based on wisdom, okay? So that indifference, that allowance, that acceptance, we will experience it more on the planet. But it is safe to say that the vast majority of humans, absolutely the vast majority of humans, have not experienced unconditional love. And the vast majority of parent-child relationships that go on right now, the vast majority of boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband relationships right now are full of attachments and selfishness, really, and misunderstanding of what love truly is. Just a misunderstanding, an illusion, a deception. Okay. So, humanity is hopefully, sorting itself out, and we'll wake up to what true love actually is, and then we'll embody it more and more. Okay, it really is an allowance, folks. Do not pluck that flower. Let that flower be. If you truly love that flower, let that flower be. Because by you letting it be, somebody else comes, smells the beautiful smells of it. It's like for the common good of all, not just for the flower, but you think for the common good of all. Okay? Thank you to all the Patreons for your support. Okay? All you guys Patreons, you've shown me some unconditional love, all right. So thank you very much. I love you guys. And if you'd like to join the Patreon family, there's a link in the description. A couple of bucks a month, $24 a year. You do it $2 a month, so it's not a 24 one-time thing. It's $2 a month. If it's something you feel like you're urged, you're called to do to support this community, God bless you. Thank you very much. Otherwise, keep watching. God bless you. Thank you very much. And one-time donations on PayPal are also accepted. The links are in the description. Side Mobile at Instagram. And until next time, may the force be with you.